Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Current History Quick Take. Today, I'm going to provide a quick take on the situation in Iran and how I think that's going to play out in light of recent history. So, Iran's in an interesting situation because it had there's this idea that we're building basically a network of proxies to stretch all the way to the Mediterranean and threaten Israel and build their regional power versus the Sunni Gulf states. So as far as that project, that has been basically destroyed. It kind of started with, I'd say, the assassination of Qasem Soleimani by President Trump, like in his first term, and that was key because if you getting into like studying grand strategy and military strategy and warfare, Soleimani was a master of asymmetric and proxy warfare. Like they study him in military schools now, and so taking him out was very key. And now you've seen Hamas in Gaza has been militarily destroyed. Whatever you think about the ethical nature of Israel's actions, that's still the case. And Hezbollah in Lebanon, same thing. They're very degraded as a military force. You see in Syria, they had ties to the Assad regime. Assad's gone. They had ties in Iraq, and Iraq's done a lot to try to secure their government in the southeastern Sunni portion of the Shia portion of the country. And so their only real significant ally is or proxy is in Yemen. And I don't think the Houthis are exactly a valuable ally. And now they've made enemies, of the Saudis, Israel, the United States by trying to choke off the Red Sea. And funny enough, the UAE has actually taken over the lead in funding the proxy opposing Saudi Arabia. So Iran is very isolated. They're serving as an arms manufacturer and seller to Russia for drones, but their potential nuclear capability and nuclear deterrent capability generated by the idea that they could have a bomb very quickly was destroyed by the conflict with Israel, the 12-day conflict with Israel last year. So they're very isolated. And so what's the next step if you want to undermine this axis of Russia, China, and Iran? You overthrow the regime. And so I expect there's a lot of covert operation going on here to generate this. What I've seen, like 2 million people out in the streets, in the most significant protest against the Iranian government I've seen in years. Now, the problem with all these protests, we've had this large protests over the last decade or so, and they always get squashed. And that's just because of the professionalism and the strength of the Iranian security services and military. That's what was concerning with the internet blackout in Iran a couple of days ago, because what I'm thinking when I see that is, okay, they're bringing out the big guns and they're taking care of these protesters in a way that won't create images and videos that blow back on them. But it seems like the protests are still raging. So I think it would be a good thing if the Ayatollahs and running the Iranian government were overthrown. Again, my question is always what comes next, but there will always be opportunities to help push the outcome there. And I'm don't think Russia's their only real ally is Russia, and I don't think they're in a position from a power projection standpoint to help Iran at this point. So I really hope these protests went out, and I hope we can have a secular democratic future in Iran.